Oh, man. All right, everybody. We are live. We are live. Wednesday edition of the Slate, highest rated edition of the Slate. I'm Emerson Latzia, Sweet Tea Fowler from Parts Unknown. Jeff Ulrich here with us as well, the Canadian Prince of Poutine, TP on the ones and twos. Producer Eamon keeping us on the tracks. How's everyone doing on this fine, much cooler Wednesday, at least here in Boston? Reed, how are you?
Good, yeah. The place where I'm is 90 degrees. So wherever I go, apparently it's just hotter than you know what. But a good thing that cools me, well, maybe not. Maybe it makes it more hotter. Is that nice little piece of hardware right there? Emmy.
What is that?
You see
is that one of my wife's Emmys?
Yes, I got into your place, took that off the mantle, started in my carry-on, brought it all the way to where I am, put it here on the mantle just for the Wednesday slate.
Yeah, I felt you kissed me last night when I was sleeping. I felt it, bud. All right, don't deny it.
Jeff, little tongue punch.
Jeff, when are you going to break into my place when I'm sleeping and give me a smooch?
I've already done it, pal. I mean, I'm just a lot sneakier than Reed. Yeah, but no, I don't know. Whenever I get on an airplane, whenever I get rid of the cowardness, I guess. You know?
No, it's February. We've already called it February. Super Bowl, right? Super Bowl waste management, all happening in the same weekend in the same city. Let's effing go.
Safety is sexy, Jeff. Okay, safety is sexy. Don't downplay yourself. You're trying to be safe. That's sexy.
Okay, so this week, let's just dive into it. Let's get after golf here, boys. First leg of the FedEx Cup playoffs. One thing I haven't actually heard us talk much about, and Reed T, I'm sure it's like in one of your articles, and maybe the same with you, Jeff Ulrich. What do we need to know about this course? Are there like important stats to know about it, Reed? Because the brief studying up that I've done on it, like it's a tough course. So it's amongst the top 15 most difficult courses on tour since 2015, I guess. Narrow fairways and a bunch of water hazards. Is there anything else we should know in a kind of golfer we should target, or just go for the big dogs?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to play more like tournament that we see in Florida, your home state. The Florida swing has basically a lot of the same characteristics, right? A lot of water, par 70s. So if you had the ball striking, the shot making has to be there. There's a lot of bunkers, and that's really where the defense is. If it gets windy, then absolutely it makes it even harder. And, I talked about this a little bit, like you mentioned in my article, is that this region hasn't gotten a lot of rain. It's actually gotten, I think, 50% less rain than it usually gets on average for this time. And if that's the case, small greens, small hard greens, and if wind does become a factor, if it picks up, this is going to be extremely difficult. Where 10 under, 11 under, that's probably going to win this thing. 16 under might be the highest, right? 15 under. But this is going to be a tougher test of golf. And if that's the case, right, you want guys tee to green. You want these guys who have played well in situations similar, like a major. I'm not saying this has the same legacy as a major or the same implications, but it kind of feels that way with all the guys in the field, with a lot of money at the very end of this, as the proverbial pot at the end of the rainbow. So there's a lot at stake, and getting these guys tee to green that have played well, because 4 of the last 6, and I mentioned this on the sweat, led the field in tee to green the years they won. 4. So if that's the case, then you're going to need someone who doesn't just hit it far off the tee, someone who's not just great with their irons. They got to be great all around basically use every club in the bag. And that's what the Florida swing courses do. That's what we're probably going to see here at TPC Southwind.
All right, Jeff, 2 par 5s, 10 par 4s in the 400 to 480 yards range. I mentioned the water hazards, and it actually holds the record for most water balls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking TPC Southwind.
They're chasing that pot of gold in the water, Emerson. But yeah, I mean,
Shane Lowry.
Shane Lowry is. It's a course where you're going to see guys just blow up for sure, and the tee to green just comes into it because like everyone is probably going to have a hole like that, but it's like it's the guys who can recover from it with the solid tee to green play and just like limit the damage that are really just gonna have success here. Like I know JT, the year he won, he was just in super, super solid form, high end up ball striking. Hideki the same way. even Answer and Sam Burns last year gained over 4 strokes on approach, had really good short games as well. So it's a tough test. It's kind of like Sawgrass-esque. It's probably even a tougher course than TPC Sawgrass, especially when it gets firm and fast. So and it's played in August, right? So I just you've got to go with the guys who can get out there and just gain you a ton of strokes on approach. First guy that comes to mind is Russell Henley. But anyways, that's the name of the game here. If you're paying up for someone, and you're a little bit suspect of, can this guy keep it in the fairway enough? Is this guy going to be able to gain 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 strokes on approach? Don't bet him. Don't, just walk away, especially in the outright market.
All right, Fowler. We've talked a lot about, we've talked about the guys top of the board. I know. We can't have a freaking Wednesday edition of the Slate.
Playoff winner, Russell Henley. Oh, that has a good sound to it.
Do you think that Russell Henley, like in an alternate universe, right? There's many out there.
Yes.
In an alternate universe, do you think that Russell Henley, Nick Foles, Louis Oosthuizen, some joker on F1 and NASCAR that Jeff always bets, do you think they're all friends?
Yeah.
I do as well.
And I think they're all like major championship winners. They're just like the Tiger Woods of their sports. Well, Louis and Russ would have to share that. But.
Yeah, one of the infinite multiverse. I would hope that one of them is a major champion winner. But
Louis is already a major champion.
Well,
I guess a winner in the United
States. More majors than Tony Finau.
So like Tony Finau. Well, okay, here's a good exercise. What career would you want right now? Tony Finau or Louis Oosthuizen?
Oosthuizen, you got the major 100%. And you've got $100 million in the bank from Liv.
Is that what it was?
Now we know where.
I don't actually know what Louis got. He probably got closer to 50 or something.
Probably got 3. Probably got $3 million.
$3 million for a major championship?
Yeah.
Bad back.
Nothing.
I'm going to say 40 million. I'm going to say he got 40. Stetson got like 40, dude.
Joking aside, he probably got like 15. Aside, 15.
No, he got more than 15. I guarantee it. He got more than that.
I don't know. He's not really a big pull though, right?
He's not. Jeff is the only dude who talks about this guy.
To you, Jeff, and to the viewers of this show, to your kids who probably know Louis Oosthuizen, probably got tattoos of Louis Oosthuizen on them, they know who he is, but the general mass of people do not know who Louis Oosthuizen is. They can't even recite what win, even though it's a major that he's had, because A, it's been so long ago, and B, he's not a big pull. So
South African Open,
15,
the Malaysian Open,
exactly. Nothing against South African Open. I'm sure it's fantastic, but that's kids table business. The PGA Tour is a whole nother bag. Give me Finau's career. 3 wins, top 10 golfer in the world on the Ryder Cup, one of the rising stars and the face of the PGA Tour, the only Polynesian golfer to win on the on the PGA Tour.
He's a cool cat, dude. He gives great interviews too. His interviews this week on ESPN. He's a likable dude.
Louis Oosthuizen probably doesn't love it. I mean, he does love his kids if he has, but that's the career that I want. 6'4", he could have been recruited for basketball. I mean, come on, Jeff.
Oh, well, I will give him this. I will give just going back to Henley real quick. I didn't realize he led the field last week in strokes gained, approach, and fairways.
That is, what did we say last week, guys? That is typical Russell Henley.
And you're right. It's been a staple of this game for years.
Typical Russell Henley. Same thing with, I think, who else was it? Corey Connors. Over the weekend, Corey Connors led the field in strokes gained tee to green. Led the field, right? These guys are so good ball strikers. Russell Henley now is more palatable than he was last week, obviously. He was half the odds last week in a lesser field. I'd rather play Russell Henley and bet Russell Henley first round leader, props on Russell Henley this week.
Yeah. Before we get to any more, did you guys hear Cameron Young is probably going to live too?
Yeah.
I was outside last 3 hours.
Yeah, it was just recently that there are some reports, and again, I don't know how valid they are, But they said
Damn.
after the FedEx Cup playoffs finish, Cameron Young is gonna head on over to Live. That's the scary part. If they start picking off those guys, Willie Z's, Cameron Young, Davis Riley, like that, Joohyung Kim, right? Those are the guys that the tour needs. Sanjay's, the young players. And if Young leaves,
Top two finishers at the last major.
Yeah,
that's
dude.
a big hit. That's Greg Norman basically saying, you're not going to invite me. I'm going to take your top two guys.
What's Cam's number? He's kind of like one of those, sleepers, air quotes. Is he plus 2,800 or something like that?
Yeah, it's not really a sleeper.
Okay.
He's Cameron Young this week. Yeah, he's plus 2,800. Yeah.
5 of his last 8 tour starts. Let's see, a second or third.
He's got
Jeff,
6 finishes of third or
St.
second,
Andrews.
I think, something like that this year. It's insane. I mean, it's
so, and he does most of his damage off the tee here because he ranks second in strokes gained and 8th in driving distance, which, wasn't that one of the categories you talked about, Reed, where you need to be good in this week?
Dude, his last start, he gained like 8 strokes putting in around the greens, like in Detroit.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's like he's just balling out there. I know he doesn't have a win yet, but like the stuff he's doing, it's pretty insane.
That actually sucks that he's going that the Live thing. I didn't hear about that. That's a bummer because I like this guy. It's just no emotion. It's kind of like being dead inside.
Yeah, look, the business plan for Live, right, is to get the talent and then go to, this is just my 2 cents, and then go to a network and say, here's our product.
Yeah.
Right. Air it, because we have the players now. We have the young players. We have some of these marquee guys like Bryson, DJ. Bryson was the biggest pull. Like once they got Bryson, I'm like, okay, this is serious, right? Like this is a serious crawl in the PGA Tour side, because like that the viewership alone from Bryson is, and it doesn't matter. Look, the PGA Tour did miss when they don't allow guys like Bryson and Phil, however much he wanted to do, like their likeness and their imaging, because if you look at Bryson's YouTube page and all of his digital reach, it's massive.
Yeah,
it is massive. And so when you get that, and then you get what he did into the, with distance and the weight room and Brooks kept on all that BS, that's going to have eyeballs. That's going to collect eyeballs. And so when you get that along with guys like Cameron Young, who are good, then you start to say, okay, what's the end game? The PGA Tour needs to start really thinking about upping their stuff.
I mean, they've made like financial changes a bunch for like years down the road, a bunch of purses that are even more ginormous than they were before. But I mean, what else could they possibly do?
Yeah.
Unless they're going to start handing out bonus checks, or like doing contracts or something, like guaranteed contracts. There's nothing they can do. The business model for Live is different. It's here's $100 million guaranteed up front. Come play. Like there's nothing comparable on the PGA. It's like I don't even know what it's like. It's just the PGA would have to completely revamp what they do, and like they've revamped the structure, but like they're not going to be handing out checks, I don't think, like that. So,
well, the big thing too is
the landscape of golf going into 2023 is going to be it's going to be way different. Like it already is. I mean, it's a weird time. I just, I don't think most people saw this kind of thing coming. So,
yeah, I'm just interested who's at Emerson's door.
I am too, now that he's left.
To get up.
He didn't answer.
Maybe we'll witness a live murder on the stream.
Oh, God, no. God, no.
The freaking coward didn't say anything.
Who are we betting here? We've talked like,
I don't know. Hey, okay. All right. I mean,
no, it's okay.
All three of us could talk about the draft. This is big picture, in my opinion. It's been a great year for golf. Golf has like led Sports Center multiple times. It's a water cooler conversation. I love it. We could fill the three of us, TP and Eamon. We could talk hours on hours about this. Yeah, let's bring it back on track just real quick. One question I have for you guys. I haven't heard anybody talk about Rory this week. He is a heavy favorite. Is that just too short of a number to bet someone at this week, Jeff?
Yeah. I mean, it is in this field, plus 900. I mean, even in like a lot of the majors, like the favorites are going off from plus 12 or something like that. So
yeah, he's the anti-live guy too. Great segue.
Yeah. Yeah. So, at plus 900, I think Rory's got obviously a fantastic shot here. That's not a hot take at all, but he's just been so good. He's been gaining like the 7 strokes. The tee to green is around the green game has been really good this year, but no, I'm not going to bet him. I don't know. And to be frank, like I kind of like Scheffler and I kind of like Xander, but I don't think I'm going to be betting anyone under plus 2,000. I would actually, I'm not on anyone under plus 2,000. If I'm starting with anyone, I've said this all week. I mean, I'll just take the value with Jon Rahm at plus 2,000, but I don't even know if that's, you need to go there because there's just dudes who, for some reason, they're ranked at plus 3,000 this week, and or Morikawa is down to plus 2,800. They just shouldn't be there. So, I look at the odds, and Rory's the deserving favorite. He's too short. I think Scheffler and Xander, if someone's betting them, that's fine. Like, I'm not going to sit here and suggest it's terrible or anything. I think those guys are completely fine. They're great players. But for me, I'll just take the value and sprinkle a little more plays in with like guys like Morikawa and Hovland.
I mean, Reed, when McIlroy shows up, like he's in the hunt, he even boasts the best scoring average on the PGA Tour here. But are you in a similar boat as Jeff, where basically plus 2,000 is going to be the shortest you go?
I may be convinced on Xander at plus 1,400.
Actually,
but like I'm sort of, what's hard though with this tournament. I think you have to divorce how we've experienced the St. Jude as a WGC and what it's going to be like now, right? I think those are two very different things. And so when you see the stats, like Rory at his last 3, right? Because the last 3 St. Judes have been here: 4th in 2019, 47th in 20, and then 12th last season. Again, 4 rounds, no cut. So you can really, get after it. Having said that, 9.7 strokes gained tee to green last year for Rory, but his around the green and his putting has been awful here over the last 2 years. He's lost close to more than 5 strokes putting total in the last 2 years. That's going to be tough. What you're seeing now, especially on smaller greens, like you shouldn't be losing a ton of strokes on small greens. Like you should be 2-putting a lot. So if he's losing strokes, that means he was getting close and he just wasn't making it. That's a little bit worrisome for Rory at plus 900. Like there's no wiggle room there. So yeah, the plurality of my bets are mostly in like the high 20s to 30s. That's basically where I'm starting. Jeff convinced me to go in on Rahm at plus 2,000. I think if he wins and he's at plus 2,000, like I don't care if he loses.
Everyone will feel
because if he wins at 2,000,
that's the thing.
Yeah,
you're not going to feel bad if Jon Rahm loses and you bet him a plus 2,000. How dumb will you feel if he wins a plus 2,000 and you don't bet him? Those are the bets you have to take. It's the same with Hovland and the same with Morikawa for me. It's just like, I'm going to feel so stupid if those guys win at those prices. You just will not see these guys hovering at those prices. Like maybe once a year, if we're lucky, we get them in these spots, but there'll be seasons where they never go down to 30 to 1 and in Rahm's case, 20 to 1. So yeah, it's just, like I said, it's kind of a simple week for me because I can't not do it. I'll end the week and I'll literally just feel so stupid. So I'd rather not feel stupid. And I'm going to bet those 3.
Yeah. I mean, like from a results standpoint, it definitely has not been the season that he was hoping for. But that being said, still ranked 6th in total strokes gained. Like he shouldn't be underestimated this week.
Yeah. Like Rahm, I mean, you shouldn't be underestimated anywhere. I mean, absolutely.
I mean, it is alarming though, right? T34, T55, like
like there's and this was the guy who was the #1 player in the world, like a month or so ago?
Yeah.
I mean, this situation reminds me exactly of the Memorial in 2020 too. In 2020, he was puttering along. I think he even came in with like a T30 the week before, and everyone was like, he's not hitting it that well. And then he just found his putting stroke and he blew the doors off everyone. I'm not saying he's going to blow the doors off everyone, but like if he gets himself in contention, like you just shouldn't be shocked. I mean,
was that the one where he was like up like 8 strokes and then tested positive for COVID on Saturday and couldn't finish?
No, it was the year before.
Okay. All right.
Same tournament though.
Same tournament.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Hey. You know what? I'm on to it right now. Let's go, dude. Brain's working. I guess mid-tier range then, because You guys have made it clear with how you feel at the top of the board. So where else are you going as the odds get longer here, Reed?
Yeah, I think Will Zalatoris, well documented how I feel about Willie Z.
Yeah,
New caddy, right? Cameron Young got a new caddy in the Open Championship, did pretty well. So that could free up some of his whatever was holding him back on the course. Maybe there was a weight, that was on his shoulders, heavy on his shoulders, and so now it's a little bit different.
Yeah, second on tour in strokes gained tee to green too. That's the stat you were spitting off the top of this show.
I know Jeff's going to talk about Morikawa. I think he's fine, but I'm a little worried about someone like Morikawa who hasn't come in with a lot of form.
Yeah,
who hasn't played since the Open Championship. He could win this. I would not be surprised. I would just not be surprised. And at plus 2,800, that's fine. But I'd rather, I think, Jeff, you mentioned it at plus 4,000. That's a little more palatable. I like Sam Burns plus 3,000. I talked about the Florida swing aspect of it. Give me Sam Burns. Like, we could talk about the first 20 guys, and there's a reason why they could win this golf tournament, right? That's how it is. So expose yourself to this range. It just feels like more value, right? At that 20, that starting at the twos and then going down.
Yeah, and I know you're a big grass guy too, Reed. Like it seems like looking at some of his previous performances, like he yeah, it certainly is. I can't confirm. Loves the Bermuda putting surfaces, Reed T. Fowler.
You're talking about Burnsy?
Yeah, I'm talking about Burnsy, bro.
Yeah,
he won twice in Innsbruck and then once in Jackson. Yeah,
2 wins. Won the Valspar, which is again a difficult, right? Set par 70. Someone who can have, it feels like a multiple winner, right, on the PGA Tour. He has been, and at plus 3,000, I love I'm betting Willie Z, but I would not be surprised if those two guys were switched. If Burns was at plus 2,200, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. He's won twice this season.
All right, Jeff. So did Reed call it? Like you're in love with Morikawa this week? You don't seem concerned at all.
I think the better way to put it is I am in love with this range. Like if you're feeling Burns, I mean, I actually like Sam Burns as a first round leader. He's on my first round leader card. But for an outright, I lean Morikawa. And I mean, I mentioned a number that isn't there anymore. Like Morikawa, even on DraftKings, I think was plus 35 at one point to start the week. People have recognized that's a ridiculous number, and he's been bet down a bit. But even at plus 2,800, I'd still probably lean him. But look, if you look at this, you say, I don't think Morikawa's there. I'm gonna go Burns and Sungjae. That's fine too. I prefer Hovland and Morikawa, but Burns lost in a playoff here last year. You mentioned the Bermuda connection. He absolutely lights it up on Bermuda grass. Sungjae is actually kind of similar. Sungjae and Burns, maybe it's not Sungjae as much late in his last couple of years, but when he began his career, Sungjae had some of the most positive putting splits on Bermuda grass we've ever seen, for a year and a half. So these guys, it's a good spot for them. I think you could just take all four and you'd be in a pretty good spot if you want to do that even, but I like Hovland. We mentioned the recent form. Why isn't this guy why is everyone big on Will Zalatoris this week? Why, I mean, I get why people like Will Zalatoris, but why is everyone betting him down to plus 2,200? Hovland's the guy who finished T4 at the Open. I don't understand. It's just one of those things that makes no sense. And I feel so stupid if I don't take advantage of the number on Victor Hovland. So I got to go with Vic. I'll let everybody else celebrate the Willie Z ticket. I'm not betting him a plus 2,200. I'm sorry. Reed. It's just, there's too many better players. And we just talked about 6 of them that are bigger numbers. It's just a value thing. Well,
when you're dead last, in this field, basically, and around the green, you can get up and down.
Problem too.
It's not difficult, right? That's going to hurt. At the Open Championship, that was a birdie fest. That was an easy major, one of the easiest majors I've ever watched.
Yeah.
And Hovland down the stretch did not come through. If we're talking about DFS, 100%. I'm with you, Jeff. Victor Hovland is a swerve. He's at 9 flat. That's easy. You can start there and build any construction you want. But for an outright to win, Zalatoris has been knocking on the door multiple times in multiple years in big tournaments. And on top of that, the putting, I'd rather have Hovland on slower greens than Willie Z on Willie Z on fast greens. That's massive. because look at what he does. Look at his splits on fast greens as opposed to not. It is night and day. So I get what
give
you're
you
saying.
all that. They're great points, honestly. But is it worth a 22 to 35 gap? For me, it's not.
Yeah.
Hovland, and again, I hate to come back to it, but like Hovland's the guy who's won 3 times on the PGA Tour.
Right.
So
and that's the thing, right? Are we talking about long form in the playoffs, or we're talking about current? And look at last year, right? Last year, Finau won, missing like a handful of cuts, not coming in with any form. Tom Hoge was runner-up, missed a ton of cuts, right? He was almost there last year.
Was he a runner-up last year?
Oh, not runner-up. I think he was fairly close. Maybe like a couple years ago. I don't know. There was 1 year
I'll
where
believe
like
anything you
Hoge
say.
was coming in to with like zero form.
Tom Hoge won the Masters
to the playoffs. And hold on here, Jeff. And he did well. So like that's what you have to think about. Yeah, in 2000, like last year, the Northern Trust, he was 4th. So not runner-up. He was 4th last year, but that came off of 3 missed cuts at the Wyndham, the 3M, and the Rocket Mortgage. And then when the playoffs start, he comes in 4th. So it's like to that point, right? Then the Morikawas make sense. Then the other players start coming in form makes sense. Having said that, though, with this being a little bit different, like the schedule and just the landscape of golf a little bit, that leads me to someone who's playing a lot better right now. Like I want guys right now who are playing really good golf. Hovland hasn't teed it up since the Open Championship. That's like a month and a half ago.
Yeah. Okay, so that kind of takes me to Big Tony here, dude. Could he go 3 in a row? I was watching one of his pressers, I think it was yesterday. And he's like, it's so interesting because I'm technically the defending champ like of this event, but it's a completely like different course. And he's like, I also know I don't have the best history here. So T35 and T64 in his last 2 trips to TPC Southwind. Like, come on, man. This is your guy. This is your ride or die.
I mean, the sky's the floor is the ceiling, or the roof is the ceiling. Michael Jordan, Michael Scott. For this guy, it's absolutely great. Yeah, of course he could win. He just showed you that he can win back to back. I mean, the fact that we're having and I think Mayo mentioned this on his show. It was a really good point. Look, who are we more confident in, Rahm or Finau? Like, what's the better bet right now? Right? It feels like it should be Rahm. It really does. But quantitatively, it's Finau. Like if it was anybody else, honestly, anybody else, maybe not Louis Oosthuizen, but anybody else than Tony Finau. If it was Burns, if it was Morikawa, if it was Hovland, if it was Sanjay, anybody else who has won back to back, like against Rahm, who hasn't played well, I don't know if we'd have the same argument. I think Finau has this like sentiment that he just doesn't win, so it's just like he can't win 3 in a row. There's no way. But we've seen now multiple times. I know this is a completely different tournament. I know that his history here is not great, but momentum, we talk about it all the time. Momentum is massive in golf, and he has it. He's number 1 in tee to green, number 1 in strokes gained total, basically number 1 in every category, number 1 in ball striking, number 2 in approach, number 4. If we covered Finau's name and we just showed you those stats, you'd be like, oh, this guy's winning this golf tournament. He's number 1 of the last 24 rounds in almost every single category. 5th and around the green, 18th in putting. But it's Tony Finau, so he's $9,700 and he's plus 2,000. Like, of course he can. Of course he can. But because my card is basically 3 guys in this range, like I'm probably going to lose again. I'm probably going to lose out on Finau winning again because I'm not that.
Yeah. Because what is it, 12 or 13 runner-ups for you this season?
13. If we're counting players instead of just events, it's 13. Yeah. But events, it's 12.
Wow.
Yeah, which is 1 out of every 3 tournaments, basically.
Reed, you're going to get there with the win because you're finally
I'm winning the lottery. I'm winning the GD lottery because of the variance.
You get all your variance back in the lottery.
Yes. And
don't forget us little guys when you win that. Thanks.
I'll share it with both of you.
I'm not a little guy. So, but yeah, I mean, you definitely won't forget me.
Well, we'll see.
Okay. All right.
Okay, pal.
Sure. So is this a week where you could sprinkle a little bit on some long shots, or is this just because of this field? do not want to get, too weird?
So, I mean, look, 3 of the last 5 winners have been 5,000 or bigger. Like Finau was 5,000 last year. Bryson won. I think it was like, he went off at like 60 to 1 at a lot of places. Yeah. You can go a little deep. I think Corey Connors is a guy that kind of fits that mold a little bit. Really good tee to green. We need the putter to show up a little bit and be competent around the greens, but he's got it in him. Absolutely. I like him more as a first round leader or like a top 10 play, but sure. I mean, he's 6,500, right? Like that's fine.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fine. He's got a better number than my guy Russ, who I think sets up similarly, but I will actually take, and I am taking Connors over Russ because the number's better. So again, a big part of golf betting, that you can't just bet who you like. I do that a lot, but you should be looking for the best numbers. And Connors is a guy who's, he's just got a better number. So
you can do whatever you want, Jeff.
I mean, I do whatever I want. So
he just does the same damn thing every week.
I mean, it's bound to happen.
I just can't wait
right?
till Nick Foles starts a game this year.
Dude,
you know what's going to happen? Nick
Chris
Foles
Kirk.
is going to win and start a game.
The one guy I will stay on is Chris Kirk because he's plus 1,000 here. He's first in around the green stats in this field. Like that's significant to me. He's 16th in strokes gained off the tee stats. 16th. Like he hits it long and straight. Really good setup for this course. Probably not going to find the water a ton off the tee. If the approach just takes an uptick, I think he can kind of do something with like Answer did last year. So that's the guy I want at plus 1,000, 10,000, excuse me. And Connors is the other guy that's got my interest, but I'm not going to be going like, 3 or 4 deep long. I know Reed's going to bring up Mito, who he's good. I might get a piece of Mito too. I might get a slice.
Plus 13,000 on Mito. Yeah. I mean, that is.
Oh yeah. Was that your favorite DFS play? That was it this morning, right?
Yeah, it was. Yep.
Okay, so that's obviously, is that as deep as you would go on the betting board? I mean, would you go that low on the betting board? Or is that more just a DFS play?
Yeah, no, I think there's guys there. Look, I'm surprised Jeff didn't mention his like cavalcade of players that he wants. Aaron Wise is at plus 6,500. Yeah. He's definitely on Jeff's card, but he's too embarrassed.
Jeff's a Bezaden Hoot guy too.
Steve Bez.
Bez is interesting here. Bez likes a tough test. That's
yep. I'm sure Jeff's got some Wyndham Clark in his life at some point.
No, I got Wyndham Clark can get the hell out of here. Okay. Bez is interesting.
Like I know a lot of people like Sahith Theegala. So basically, what I'm getting at is these guys are here for a reason. The top 125, right? But only 120 are playing because Hideki withdrew. Nate Lashley has a toe injury, so he's done for the year basically because he's 98th in the standings and he's not playing, so he's not going to make top 70. And then the three guys that wanted to come back home that were saying, "Too bad you left the roost. Go enjoy your spoils." JT says, "Yeah, go enjoy your cake over there," and I thought that was a pretty good saying. But if I'm looking, I love Corey Connors. I was on Corey Connors last week, and it didn't pan out. It started great. He birdied the first hole on Thursday, and I'm like, beautiful. This is Corey Connors. He's going to do it. He had like 4 feet to the cup. He made a birdie, center cut. And then nothing happened after that. So I love Corey Connors, especially how he played on the weekend. He is my Russell Henley. Corey Connors to me is Russell Henley to Jeff. I will bet Corey Connors so often because it will happen at least once or twice. Again, he already won, but it'll happen more than once with the way he's ball striking. So love it there. And the other guy I want to mention is Max Homa. You talk about these difficult courses. Max Homa plays them extremely well. He's so steady, and if you want to stay away from the big numbers, if bogey avoidance is a thing, if smart course management is a thing, if being able to keep your cool when it's hot is a thing, then plus 5,000. I know there's a lot of love for Billy Ho, for Bermuda Billy, but Len Hawkwood's on the show. So sorry, Billy, we're fading Billy, and we're going Max Homa plus 5,000 as well.
That was a big ruling yesterday. That was huge, right? I mean, could that be a sign of things to come, I guess, with a larger lawsuit, looming? Yeah,
it could be precedent for sure. Yeah. And Roy mentioned it. He was very eloquent in what he said in his presser. Now it's become personal, right? Because now you want to come and you want to take my money.
Yes. Yeah.
Basically what he was saying. And I have an issue with that. So
you're essentially suing like your old buddies that are just kind of living their life.
And Taylor Gooch, I don't know where I heard this, so this might just be me spewing nonsense.
Whatever.
my tin hat, as Jeff likes to mention, is Taylor Gooch was under the impression that when the FedEx Cup playoffs came, that the legal battles would have been ironed out already and he'd be able to play. Sorry, Taylor.
I'm an idiot. And I could have told you that this was going
Whoever
to be a
gave
while.
you legal advice, you better fire that person's
No
staff.
no one has come off worse than this than Taylor Gooch.
Yeah.
Like, come on, buddy. Like, you can have your opinions, but like, you're in a position now where this was again, whoever was managing these guys who went over, they should have known. And DJ and Brooks, the guys who were names who weren't on that lawsuit, they knew, and they're getting good legal advice. Like, you came over here for a reason. To say it's Faraday said it flat out. He's like, this is not about growing the game. They paid me a lot of money. Period.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a money grab.
Yeah, there's
That's
definitely
true.
two tiers, right? Like there's the older guys who like they legitimately don't care if they go back to the PGA. They'd like to get those official world golf rank points because they want the majors.
Yes, they do.
But a lot of them, I don't even think they care that much. Like I'm sure they'll try and weasel their way into the majors. But then there's the younger guys who are. It almost feels like some of them weren't necessarily lied to, but like they're just out there being like, yeah, give me some money. Oh, I can't play. Like some of them are legitimately feel like they've kind of just like bamboozled themselves. So I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, and then there was the revelation like yesterday we were talking about before the show, and we have to wrap. But like the guys, when you win a tournament, say you win like the $4 million first place, you win a tournament on Live, you have to like pay that back. That comes out of like the $100 million you got.
Some of their contracts, it's like
yeah.
I don't think all their contracts are like that, but some of them probably are.
Yeah. I was going to say, Phil plus 26 for the first 3 Live events. It's like, I'm not giving back any of my 200.
Yeah.
All right, we got to go. What do we have coming up, Madden? Detroit at Houston, which episode 1 of Hard Knocks was pretty good last night.
That's what I
if you
heard.
watched that. All right. I got an article to write. Reed and Jeff, great job. TP, Eamon. Thanks, everybody. We are back live in studio tomorrow morning for Thursday edition of The Sweat. We'll see you then.
You don't know how to write.
Hey.
Doesn't know how to read.